Hello everyone and welcome to my Y&R Insider 24 update channel. Melissa Claire Egan claims that Chelsea and Adam will encounter a shocking twist. The Young and the Restless, Y&R, spoilers suggest that Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson are in for some trouble. Even though things are going well, Egan lets slip that the honeymoon is about to end. Chadam are a favorite among viewers, but soap couples rarely get along well. Let's take a deep dive into what could be on the horizon for these star-crossed lovers. Chadam are lovers who cross stars. Chadam are living and working together, possibly a disaster-prone situation. Their young son, Connor Newman, is evidence that they have a history. The romance has won over even Victor Newman. He once thought Chelsea wasn't good enough for his son, but actually offered Chelsea a job at the family biz, Newman Media. Despite the fact that their most recent reconciliation has resulted in Chadam falling madly in love, Melissa Claire Egan teases that some chaos is on the horizon for the couple. What's going on with Chadam? The main sticking point is that Adam and Victor are gunning to take down her ex, Billy Abbott. Chelsea finds it offensive that they are pursuing him through Newman Media. It's not a secret that she wants the men to lay off Billy. With Victor in charge, however, that won't happen. Chelsea is trying to be a peacemaker in the ongoing conflict, Egan told Woman's World. Egan stated, "You have to keep in mind that Billy literally saved her life on that roof, and then she cheated on him. She wants to support Adam, but she feels a lot of guilt about her man pursuing her ex-boyfriend, who saved her life. It's tricky. Chelsea feels guilty. Do you think Billy deserves more respect from Chelsea? After all, she is now with Adam, and she ought to be loyal to him rather than her ex. Are you prepared for additional drama between Chadam, Y&R fans? Do you believe that these two will never be able to live together peacefully for very long? A love story rebuilt on fragile ground, Chadam's reignited romance. Chelsea and Adam finally reconciled after years of hurt, betrayal, and miscommunication. Many fans, who had become accustomed to their ongoing cycles of love, heartbreak, and reconciliation, were taken aback when they finally got together. However, things appeared to be different this time. Adam was more composed, more reflective, and truly committed to Chelsea and Connor. Chelsea, meanwhile, appeared to have found a new sense of peace after her struggles with mental health and guilt. Together, they were determined to start fresh, to leave behind the chaos of the past and build a stable home for their son. Their professional collaboration at Newman Media seemed to reinforce this renewed unity. They gained power and purpose by working together. Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, who had previously opposed Chelsea's control over his son, unexpectedly accepted her return to the Newman circle. He even gave her a prominent position within the company, a gesture that stunned many in Genoa City, considering the family's history of suspicion toward her. But in the soap opera world, peace never lasts long. Especially not for a Chadam couple with so much passion and history. Frequently, the same intensity that sustains their love becomes the very thing that causes them to fall apart. Additionally, that transformation is imminent, as Melissa Claire Egan hinted. The honeymoon is over is a shocking revelation from Melissa Claire Egan. Egan teased in an interview with Woman's World that Chadam's blissful chapter won't last forever. She described Chelsea's upcoming storyline as one that dives into emotional turmoil, moral dilemmas, and divided loyalties. According to Egan, Chelsea finds herself torn between supporting Adam's ambitions and staying true to her conscience, particularly when Adam and Victor set their sights on bringing down her ex, Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson. Chelsea wants to be a peacemaker, Egan said. Keep in mind that Billy literally saved her life on that roof before she cheated on him. She wants to help Adam, but she feels a lot of shame that her man is going after the man who saved her life. It's difficult. The coming storm can be seen by this quote alone. Chelsea's relationship with Adam will undoubtedly be complicated by her deep guilt over Billy's kindness and her own betrayals in the past. Chelsea's compassion for Billy may come across as disloyalty to Adam, despite her efforts to support her current partner. Additionally, Adam Newman does not manage perceived betrayal well, as history demonstrates. Adam's ruthless side returns. Despite Adam's best efforts to change, his darker impulses never leave him. Victor's latest schemes have reawakened Adam's old habits, manipulation, obsession, and a relentless drive for revenge. Through the most recent business strategies employed by Newman Media, Victor and Adam are determined, collectively, to slay Billy. While Victor views it as strategy, Adam's motivations are more personal. His rivalry with Billy runs deep, and his desire to win often blinds him to the emotional fallout. However, Chelsea is uncomfortable with this vengeance. She's worked hard to put her manipulative past behind her, and she's aware that every time Adam dives back into the darkness, it drags them both down. She doesn't want to see him spiral again, and she also doesn't want to be a part of something that could kill Billy, the man who saved her from suicide once. This moral tug-of-war will test the very foundation of Chadam's relationship. Chelsea sees Adam's actions as a dangerous return to dangerous routines, whereas Adam sees them as safeguarding the legacy of his family. And if she pushes too hard against him, Adam may feel betrayed, setting off another cycle of mistrust, resentment, and heartbreak. The guilt factor, Chelsea's inner conflict. Chelsea's portrayal by Melissa Claire Egan has always been complex, and the upcoming plot promises to explore those complexities once more. Chelsea's guilt over Billy is not just about gratitude, it's about remorse for everything she's done to hurt him. She cheated on him, manipulated situations for her own gain, and nearly destroyed both his career and his mental health. Billy, on the other hand, showed compassion for her when she needed it most. That kind of redemption doesn't fade easily from the heart. Now, as Adam and Victor target Billy, Chelsea's sense of moral obligation resurfaces. She knows she can't openly side with Billy without alienating Adam, but she can't sit quietly while the man who once saved her life is being attacked. This emotional conflict could lead Chelsea to make secretive moves behind Adam's back, perhaps trying to mediate or warn Billy actions that Adam might interpret as betrayal. And in Genoa City, even the smallest secret can blow up into a full-blown war. The return of old patterns. Longtime Y&R fans know that Adam and Chelsea's relationship has always been cyclical. They fall deeply in love, push each other to dangerous emotional limits, and ultimately implode. They seem to be unable to distance themselves from one another even when they are apart because of how enticing their connection is. However, the same passion is also their downfall. The admonition given by Egan that the honeymoon is over resembles a typical soap opera warning, indicating that the writers are getting ready to take Chadam back into dramatic, emotional territory. Something will unavoidably rekindle the volatile relationship between them, whether it be jealousy, guilt, manipulation, or outside interference. There's also the lingering question of Connor's emotional well-being. The young boy has struggled with his parents' instability for years, and has shown signs of trauma that deeply concern both of them. In the event that the Chadam relationship resurfaces, it could have devastating effects on their son. Chelsea will likely blame Adam for this, which will further exacerbate their division. Billy Abbott. The Chadam story's wild card. Without Billy Abbott's intrusion, no Chadam story is complete. His connection to both Adam and Chelsea is messy, personal, and filled with resentment. From Delia's death to years of manipulation and corporate warfare, Billy has every reason to dislike Adam. But his relationship with Chelsea adds an unexpected emotional wrinkle. Despite their painful history, there's still a trace of respect between them, even affection. If Chelsea reaches out to Billy in a moment of guilt or compassion, it could reignite old feelings, or at least spark suspicion in Adam's mind. That kind of misunderstanding is exactly what drives soap opera drama, and fans can already sense that a love triangle could resurface. Adam's jealousy, Billy's moral indignation, and Chelsea's empathy could form a combustible mix. In addition, there is no way to predict how far the flames will spread once that match is lit. Victor Newman's influence. Victor's involvement adds complexity to the situation. He has always been a master manipulator who can create disorder even when he pretends to make peace. For now, he appears supportive of Chelsea, but if she begins to interfere with his business agenda, Victor won't hesitate to cut her out. That could make Chelsea feel alone, and she might also feel betrayed by the Newman family, which she has tried to fit in with. Her sense of alienation could push her toward dangerous decisions, perhaps even aligning herself, temporarily, with Billy, or finding solace in someone unexpected. Victor, meanwhile, could exploit the turmoil between Adam and Chelsea for his own ends. After all, Victor thrives on control. If the relationship between his son and Chelsea begins to deteriorate, he might use the situation to lure Adam even closer to himself, securing his loyalty at Chelsea's expense. A coming shocking turning point given Egan's comments, the shocking twist likely goes beyond simple relationship drama. Chatham may be forced to confront their priorities by a betrayal, a scandal at Newman Media, or even a health or legal crisis. Y&R often uses emotional turmoil to expose hidden truths, and Chelsea's guilt might drive her to a breaking point where she makes a decision that changes everything. Perhaps she secretly warns Billy about Victor and Adam's plan, or maybe Billy exposes her conflict of interest, leading to her downfall at Newman Media. Either way, the fallout could leave Chelsea heartbroken and Adam furious, setting off another dramatic separation. Are Chatham doomed or destined? At the heart of this storyline lies one central question: can Chelsea and Adam ever truly find peace together? Fans are divided. Some believe their connection is too strong to be destroyed by outside forces, that despite everything, they'll always find their way back to each other. Others think their love is toxic, built on passion and pain rather than trust and stability. Melissa Claire Egan's words suggest that while Chatham's story is far from over, it's about to enter another intense chapter. The love between Adam and Chelsea will be tested in ways that challenge their morality, loyalty, and sense of self. In addition, as is typical in Genoa City, a person ultimately pays the price when ambition and feelings clash. Final thoughts. The Young and the Restless has long excelled at crafting intricate emotional arcs, and Chatham's upcoming storyline promises to be no exception. Fans should prepare for heartbreak, redemption, and possibly betrayal as Melissa Claire Egan teases major turbulence. Chelsea's guilt, Adam's ambition, Billy's lingering presence, and Victor's manipulation all intertwine to form a perfect storm, one that could either destroy Chatham forever or forge them into something stronger. In either case, viewers can expect a powerful and moving ride. Confrontation, going rogue, preserving a legacy. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday, October 9th indicate that Genoa City contains some shocking information. A character faces multiple challenges as a result of a character going rogue and another character safeguarding the legacy of his family. What can we anticipate for the show on Thursday? It's time to discover. Nick Newman turns on himself. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday, October 9th reveal that Joshua Morrow's Nick Newman will act out on his own. What specifically does this imply? Be sure to check out the spoilers for this week's Y&R here. He was supposed to head to Los Angeles with Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, but ended up telling her to head there without him, as he had to handle some Newman business. Is he going to leave the office earlier than expected to meet his ex-wife, or will Nick completely change his mind and do something utterly bizarre? To find out, viewers will need to tune in. Jack Abbott takes care of his family across town. Jack Abbott will protect his family's interests. During the Wednesday, October 8th show, she had a confrontation with Kane Ashby, hoping to convince the billionaire mogul to hand over his AI software so that it can be destroyed. Read this. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Mariah's gone missing and Tessa's Boston clinic surprise. It is difficult to determine whether Jack was able to communicate with Kane. Therefore, what next steps will he take to prevent Kane from achieving his goal of acquiring Genoa City and all of its legacy businesses? Ashby's Kane is inundated. Regarding Kane, the spoilers for Thursday's episode of The Young and the Restless indicate that Kane will face two conflicts, one with his mother, Jill Abbott, in addition to another from his former spouse, Lily Winters. Victor Newman recently informed Jill that Kane amassed his fortune thanks to a final con that Colin Atkinson plotted. Jill wasn't too pleased to learn this, so she went to hear Kane's side of the story. Since good news tends to spread quickly, it is likely that Lily will confront her ex-boyfriend once more once she learns of the moustache information. Will the ladies believe Kane's side of the story? What aspect of the show's plot do you look forward to the most on Thursday? Leave a comment down below. Facing the fire in Genoa City, protecting a legacy, and going rogue. Thursday, October 9's Young and the Restless episode promises shocking confrontations, risky choices, and high emotional stakes that will shake Genoa City to its core. What begins as a typical day quickly escalates into a struggle for power, loyalty, and heart. Nick Newman's shocking decision to go rogue, Jack Abbott's relentless drive to protect the Abbott legacy, and Kane Ashby's tense face-offs with both Jill and Lily will set the stage for explosive fallout in the days ahead. Nick Newman goes rogue. Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, has always been the moral compass of the Newman clan, the man who tries, time and again, to carve his own identity separate from his father's empire. He has frequently struggled to choose between his heart and the family name. However, the tensions surrounding him reach boiling point this week. What the spoilers call Nick going rogue could be one of his most memorable adult experiences. For weeks, Nick has been pulled in opposite directions, Sharon Case, urging him to step away from the constant Newman chaos and join her in Los Angeles for a fresh start, while Victor, Eric Braden, continues to tighten his grip, reminding his son that no one walks away from the family. It's the same old song, but this time, Nick's melody changes. He gave the impression that he wasn't quite ready to give up Genoa City's never-ending power games when he decided not to accompany Sharon right away to Los Angeles. However, it now appears that Nick may proceed in a manner that neither Victor nor Sharon could have anticipated. The question on everyone's mind is simple: what does going rogue truly mean for Nick? Is it a brave demonstration of independence, or is it a careless move that puts his family and himself in danger? Nick may be investigating Victor's recent business dealings behind Victor's back, according to insiders, possibly uncovering a hidden agenda connected to Newman Enterprises' recent acquisitions. Others believe that he might work covertly with Adam, Mark Grossman, or even an outsider like Jack Abbott to bring to light a hidden corporate scandal. Nick is emotionally in a crossroads. His love for Sharon is genuine, and he wants to rekindle their relationship after years of separation. However, he is struck by the heavy shadow cast by his father's ambition each time he views Newman Towers. The idea of freedom calls to him, but so does the pull of responsibility to his family name, to his late mother's legacy, and to the empire that has defined his entire existence. There will be a cost associated with his decision. And if Nick really goes off the rails, he might find himself even further away from his father and the woman who thought she had him back for good. Jack Abbott preserves the legacy of his family across town. Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, finds himself in a familiar but increasingly dangerous position, standing as the last line of defense for the Abbott name and the empire that bears it. Jack has always held the legacy of Jabot Cosmetics and the Abbott family in high regard as a representation of his own sense of purpose and the values of his late father. But with the ever-ambitious Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, back in Genoa City and scheming his way through a tech-driven corporate takeover, Jack knows that the family's heritage is on the line. Kane's mysterious AI software could change the game or become a weapon, depending on who uses it, as recently shown in episodes. During Wednesday's show, Jack confronted Kane in a tense exchange that blended civility with veiled threats. To ensure that the AI technology would not be used to dismantle the very businesses that helped to build Genoa City's economy, Jack demanded that Kane hand it over. Jack was able to see through Kane's coyness when he suggested that he only wanted to modernize the city's older institutions. Kane, always the charmer, played it down. Jack sees Kane as a new breed of businessman who is ruthless, driven by data, and unaffected by moral consequences. Jack knows from instinct that Kane doesn't just want to be innovative. Kane's obsession with power stems from a darker personal vendetta that is simmering below the surface. Over the years, Jack has been up against Victor Newman, Tucker McCall, and even his own brother Billy. However, Kane's threat feels different. It's not just business, it's existential. If Kane gains control, the very essence of what the Abbotts stand for could be erased in a digital heartbeat. Determined to protect both his company and his family, Jack begins strategizing. He may reach out to allies like Kyle Abbott or even Ashley Abbott, though the family's internal tensions make unity difficult. There's also the question of whether Jack might seek Victor's reluctant help, two rivals bound by mutual self-interest. Victor's disdain for Kane's rise could make him a temporary ally, and though Jack despises the idea, he knows the stakes may demand desperate measures. But the emotional cost for Jack is heavy. He seems to be moving further and further away from peace with each action he takes to defend his legacy. He has witnessed the struggle of the following generation to make the same moral compromises as he did. He has always wanted to preserve the Abbott legacy, but he can't help but wonder if holding on so tightly is what makes him lonely. Still, the fire inside Jack hasn't dimmed. Even if it means jeopardizing his own reputation and making decisions that his late father might not approve of, he will fight Kane with everything he has. Kane Ashby looks at his future. If there's one man at the center of Thursday's storm, it's Cain Ashby. Cain has been building an empire in the shadows for months, using every trick and trickery to outwit his rivals. But the walls are closing in. The upcoming episode hints at two major confrontations, one with his mother, Jill Abbott, Jess Walton, and another with his ex-wife, Lily Winters, Crystal Cullill. Cain is forced to confront not only the truth about his schemes but also the ghosts of his past, with each confrontation that goes deeper than the previous. Victor Newman recently dropped a bombshell on Jill, revealing that Cain's wealth and power are built on one final con orchestrated by none other than his late father, Colin Atkinson. For Jill, who has spent years oscillating between maternal affection and disappointment toward Cain, this revelation feels like betrayal all over again. She approaches Cain directly, determined to obtain information. Their confrontation is likely to be violent and will be a heartbreaking mix of love, rage, and heartbreak. Jill wants to believe that the man she once called her son has grown beyond his father's shadow, but every instinct tells her that he's repeating history. Cain, ever the smooth operator, tries to spin the situation. He insists that Victor exaggerated the truth, that his financial gains were legitimate and that his AI software is the future, not another scam. But beneath his confident exterior, cracks begin to show. He is far too familiar to Jill. Her piercing words cut through his defenses, reminding him of the times he begged for a second chance and the times he squandered it. Their bond, once built on mutual ambition, now hangs by a thread of bitterness and regret. But Jill isn't Cain's only problem. Lily Winters, his ex-wife and the love of his life, soon catches wind of Victor's revelation and storms into his office demanding answers. The emotional weight of their history makes this confrontation even more volatile. Lily has forgiven Cain for more than most women could: affairs, lies, schemes, yet she always believed that deep down, he was capable of redemption. This latest deception may be the final straw. Their exchange is fiery and raw. He is accused of betraying not only her trust but also the moral foundation of everything they once stood for, according to Lily. Cain responds that he is doing what needs to be done to survive in a world that values brutality. But as he defends his actions, even he can sense the hollowness in his words. He's losing the people who matter most, and no amount of power or money can replace what is destroyed. As the episode unfolds, Cain's empire begins to tremble. Jill's fury, Lily's heartbreak, and Jack's strategic maneuvers form a storm that threatens to engulf him. He has always believed he can outwit anyone, but perhaps he has underestimated the power of those who know him best this time. The threads converge. What makes this episode particularly gripping is how these separate threads, Nick's rebellion, Jack's protective crusade, and Cain's reckoning, begin to overlap in subtle but powerful ways. It's possible that Jack's plan to stop Cain will accidentally cross paths with Nick's decision to go rogue. If Nick discovers that Newman Enterprises' interests are tangled with Cain's tech ambitions, his rogue move could either save the Abbotts or doom them. Meanwhile, Jack's efforts to secure the Abbott legacy may lead him to make uneasy alliances, possibly with Victor, or even with Nick himself. Cain's downfall, if it comes, could alter the power dynamics of Genoa City entirely, leaving open seats for those bold enough to seize them. Emotionally, Thursday's episode promises a perfect blend of corporate intrigue and personal drama, the kind that The Young and the Restless does best. Each character is at a crossroads where they must make decisions that either help them save their lives or destroy everything they've built. Final thoughts. This episode's title, Going Rogue, Protecting a Legacy, and Confrontation, is a statement about Genoa City's current position. Every major player is being tested. Nick's independence could become rebellion, Jack's protection could border on obsession, and Cain's ambition could lead to his ruin. The beauty of The Young and the Restless lies in its ability to blur the lines between love and power, between loyalty and betrayal. This episode captures that essence perfectly. Viewers will see hearts breaking, alliances shifting, and legacies hanging in the balance, all against the backdrop of the city that never sleeps, never forgives, and never forgets.